Good morning everybody, welcome to Immortal Gaming. This is me again, Marvin, and we're now here for another video for Tower of Fantasy. This time we're going to be talking about the ultimate guide that I've made for you guys about the SSR weapons here, the SSR characters known as the simulacra here in the world of Tower of Fantasy. So, before anything else, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. If you happen to like this video, please do leave a like, share this to your friends, and click that bell notification button so you get notified every time I upload a new video, start a new stream, or a new content. Let's now go to the main topic. We're going to be starting with the weapon types because this will be the class here in the game. So in other games, there will be classes, jobs, etc. But this time, it's going to be much more flexible for us. You can do a lot of different builds here, but I'm gonna show you a couple of builds right now, and I'm gonna be showing you what does each SSR do and what are their roles. Is it worth it to pull for them? Alright, so let's start with the weapon types. There are three weapon types here. The first one is the DPS, the burst one. The second one is the defense, and the third one is the support. So these weapon types have a resonance to go along with them. That means when you equip, because you can equip up to 3 weapons, right? If you equip 2 weapons of the same weapon type, you would actually gain a bonus. For example, if you equip 2 support types of weapon, you would be gaining 100% heal from your skills. Those are the weapon types. Now you can do a little mix up of them. I have here a couple of builds. So first one would be balanced build. So a balanced build has everything. If you like to play on solo, if you don't have that many friends like me who would be joining you in the game, or the other friends are not yet there on where you are, and you actually want to progress faster, I would be suggesting to use this build. It means you all have them: the defense weapon type, the DPS, and the support. So that means you have shield, you have DPS, you have damage, and at the same time you have heal. So all together in one character. If you are belonging usually into a group or into a party or into a crew, then it would be better for you to pick a role in this next 3 builds. The second build now is going to be the burst DPS. A lot of people are going for this, including me. I want to be, performing a role wherein I just do damage. I kill, and kill in group fights and in dungeons, even on world bosses. So that would be the burst DPS. It goes with 2 DPS. Just if you're gonna equip 2 DPS weapons, then you'll just add any that you like. You could make it 3 DPS weapons, or you could just add another defense or support. I would be suggesting a support or a DPS. A defense weapon together with 2 DPS is, I don't think that has any sense. All right. The third build is the tank build. So instead of equipping 2 DPS, you would be equipping 2 shield or 2 defense weapon types. So in this way, you would be more tanky and you would be absorbing more damage and immune to some of the debuffs and some of the damage, and that would give you a couple of bonuses for your for the team, because every team need to have their own tanks. Okay, so the last one would be the healer. 2 support weapons and maybe a defense weapon, or you can go for DPS. So your healer would be a little more flexible in fights. Okay, so let's talk about the support weapons or the support simulacra. As of now, in our global release, there are only 3 support roles, SSRs out there. That would be Nemesis, Cocoritter, and Zero. For the DPS, we have tons of DPS. The first one is Crow, next is Cobalt B, next is Claudia, King, Samir, Shiro, and Chibasa or Hane. Okay, lastly, for the defense SSRs, we have only 2. We have Mariel and we have Huma. Okay, let's talk first about the support SSRs out there. First, let's talk about the banner Nemesis. So Nemesis carries the weapon Venus, and her element is Volt or Electric. So her role here is to be the lightning support. She's going to be putting lot of dots if you have already increased the stars of your weapon. We'll go later towards that part. And of course, she heals. So she has DOT or dot or damage over time. This enables her to boost lightning damage significantly while also healing and at the same time dealing lightning damage while using her other weapon. Okay? Next, her weapon Venus is already good at 1 star. This means that you have to get another duplicate of her weapon in order for you to advance that weapon or that gear into 1 star. So you get it 0 stars, and every time that you have a duplicate of the weapon, you use it to increase the stars of your weapon every time that you upgrade your gears, so that it gets additional types of buffs and upgrade on damage, etc. So for Nemesis, she's already good even with 1 star. And for the heal and extra sustain, if you want, you could go for the 3 star for the damage over time, because it only comes on 3 star, her dots. Okay, next, let's now go to Ritter. Cocoritter carries the weapon Absolute Zero, and she's on the element Ice. Her role is healing, buff support, and recharge of your energy and discharge attacks. This helps increase survivability as well as boost offensive capabilities. That means you're going to be supporting your DPS, a really very good support for the DPS of the team, because you have to keep your DPS alive in order for you to kill more or to win. Alright, DPS is very important in team fights. Her Absolute Zero is already good even at 1 star. So that's for HP and energy regen over time. Next, let's now go to Zero. Zero carries the weapon Negating Cube, and it's actually cool, right? So this time, he is on the element Flame or Fire. He provides heals, offensive buffs, and shields. This is really good. All right, so that's the reason why I'm kind of inclined to getting Zero here, because aside from that, he also got a buff this coming global release. He helps increase survivability in your team while boosting offensive, because he does offensive buffs, boosting offensive capabilities, and he's really good at AFK farming. If they release AFK farming, I think they have tested already AFK farming on the test servers. I'm not sure if they have already introduced auto button here in the global. I think it's not yet available, but he is really good for auto farming because he heals, he buffs himself, and he provides shields. So if you get shielded, then there's a low chance for you even on auto dying, right? So the Negating Cube, his weapon, is also very good at 1 star. Alright? So that is for the support roles. If you would be asking me, any of the 3 would be very good if you want to have a support role as your main priority in your crew or in your party. So any of the 3, they're good. Next, DPS. So let's now go to the resonance of the DPS SSRs. Okay, the first up is Crow. Crow has a double dagger and it is called Thunder Blades. His element is Volt and his role is DPS, offensive buff, and CC immune. This enables him to provide a high crit rate as well as boosting lightning damage without being thrown around and doing significant damage himself. But you need his weapon to be at 3 star in order for it to gain damage boost, because without it, the damage he does is kind of negligible. So what is the use of casting CC immune or dealing having offensive buffs if you cannot burst the opponent while you're at it, right? So you need his weapon to be 3-star if you want his weapon to be in outstanding performance. Alright, let's go with the first flame DPS, Cobalt B. Her weapon is called Blazing Revolver. Alright, so her role is basically to shred down bosses and handle the fight before things get messy. So she's just here to deal massive DPS or burst damage. But there's a huge but again. Her Blazing Revolver discharge cooldown takes so long to get back up again. So it needs to be 6-star. Look at this, 6-star. She needs to be 6-star in order for her skill cooldown to be considered, okay. Because without it, the burst is just there. But then again, after you burst, what do? You just avoid a normal attack. So for me, I'm not digging Cobalt B. Maybe some people would be wanting her, but not me. Alright, next, let's go to Claudia. Claudia has the Guren Blade. So it's a physical element. Her role here is to be one of those SSRs in the air, and she also gives offensive buffs. This enables her to buff other weapons aside from herself and increase skill damage, but at 5% while doing decent damage herself. The buff takes 5-star of her weapon, but I would already recommend using her even on 1-star. She's good on 1-star already because she already has that automatic 24% damage buff. Alright, so next we have King, the crowd favorite. I see a lot of people wanting King. King wields the Sight of the Crow, and he is a fire DPS or a flame element. His role, Shield Break. That is one of the biggest roles in clashes, in team fights, and even on dungeons and bosses. Because the shield is really important for your party to be broken in order for your party to deal damage. Because some bosses or some fights out there, if it takes you too long to kill the enemy, then it's going to be problematic for your whole party. So shield breaks make everybody's life easier. So King is really wanted on those types of fights. At 1-star, he's already providing a good effect. Aside from Nemesis, he also provides dot or damage over time. And considering this, his weapon is already very good at 1-star. Next, let's go to Samir. Samir, in my opinion, is my personal choice among all of this. I hate to be, subjective here, but when I knew about Samir's capability, I instantly want her. She's wielding the dual EM stars, which are double gun. She has the Volt element. Her role is also aerial DPS aside from Claudia, and she has a very good recharge rate. That means a low charging time on her energy for the discharge attacks. She is special in that she attacks every time that she attacks in air, because when you attack while you're suspended in air, you kind of avoid a lot of ground attacks and particularly AoE attacks either from bosses or from other players. So this is the thing. When you get her weapon, she doesn't even need any duplicate. Her weapon is already very good as is, even on 0-star. I'm not saying that getting duplicates of her weapon is not going to be helpful. Of course, it's going to be helpful. It will still be, increase your performance, your DPS, your damage, etc. But considering that the performance of 0-star weapon of Samir, it's already good enough. That's why a lot of F2P players are vying for Samir, wishing to get her weapon at the very beginning. Alright? So she's really good at base. Next, let's go to Shiro, another physical DPS. So Shiro is usually the one that I see other streamers or content creators are pulling. I'm not sure why they are all pulling Shiro, but yeah, she wields the Chakram of the Seas. As I told you guys, she's a physical damage dealer. She also fills the shield break role if you don't have one in team. She's very good at AoE DPS. And that's it. That's it. You know why? Her weapon needs to be 3-star in order for it to get a free skill cooldown so that you could dish out more damage. Aside from that, nothing else from Shiro. Alright? Last but not the least, from the DPS Resonance team, we have Chibasa or Hain, the Ice Elemental bow that I got from the China server. She is wielding the Ice Wind arrow. Of course, her role is DPS, and this is good. She CCs. She does crowd control. She also cleanse herself and amplify her damage. In a way, in my opinion, that for a DPS, that is all in one, in my opinion. So I really also want her. If I could not get, Samir, I would gladly accept Chibasa on global release. Although she got a few nerf, but it doesn't affect her widely. She's very good at long fights because the longer the fights, the longer she amplifies herself again and again. Her weapon is already good even at 1-star, but in 3-star it also gives a very good additional DPS, but 1-star is already great. Alright, last, let's now go to the defense resonance, the defense teams. So we have two SSRs here. The first one is Mariel, another ice element, but she's wielding now a sword, which is called the Rosy Edge. Her role, look at this. This one is one of the things that I really like. Her role, shield break, a tank that breaks shield. That's very good. She's CC immune. She doesn't get crowd control. And lastly, she provides shields. So aside from doing damage, her damage is, average, but she breaks shield. That's very good. She's a tank. That's also good. So one thing that, King provides, she also has, but in an upgraded way, because both of them are melee, right? Mariel, she's a melee, but she can also do ranged attacks. In that way, you could really, really maximize her flexibility. I have never seen a very flexible SSR in a game other than Mariel. She does a lot of things in the battle. To add to this, her weapon is also good even at 1-star. Alright? Now, let's go to the last SSR that we have, Huma. Huma is a shielder, a tank. She carries the weapon Molten Shield V2, and her element is Flame or Fire. Her role is additional debuff on the enemy. She can also crowd control, she can stun, and she also has a ton of damage reduction as a tank, right? This enables her to neutralize enemies effectively while providing decent recharge. Very good even at 0-star. There are only 2 SSRs out there that are already good even at 0-star on their weapon. The second one is Huma. Because her dupes, while useful, Samir also adds a good additional upgrades on additional stars on her weapon, but she's already a good kit herself even with only 0-star. While for Huma, her weapon is good already at 0-star because the additional stars or dupes wouldn't do that much change in her performance. That's the difference. Alright? So, among all of this, I would be suggesting for you in terms of if you want to reroll, if you are going for a defense resonance character, you can go for Mariel. I would definitely suggest it to you if you're a tank person in most of the fights. If you're a DPS, I would be suggesting first on top is Samir, second would be Chibasa, third would be King. Alright? And next, as I've told you guys, for the support, you could take any of them. They're already good at their own jobs. Alright? So I do hope that I have helped you a lot in this video. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe. If you haven't liked this video, please do leave a like, share this to your friends, and click that bell notification button so you get notified every time I upload a new video, start a new stream, or a new content. That's it. See you again on the next video. Bye-bye! 'Cause now I found you.